AI is only as powerful as the platform it's built into. That's why it's no surprise that more than 85% of the Fortune 500 use the ServiceNow AI platform. While other platforms duct tape tools together, ServiceNow seamlessly unifies people, data, workflows, and AI, connecting every corner of your business. And with AI agents working together autonomously, anyone in any department can focus on the work that matters most. Learn how ServiceNow puts AI to work for people at ServiceNow.com. Hey everyone, welcome to Quick Serve, brought to you by ServiceNow. We're back in the studio.
We're back, baby.
Gotta say, the HBO Max app saved my life while we were traveling around this week.
Yeah.
We had to pop up to New York to host a conversation after a private screening of Rafa.
Yeah, we have we'll have some clips on Monday, and then we're actually putting out the full conversation in partnership with them on
Cool.
Thursday.
Awesome. It was really fun. There were a ton of fancy people there.
Yeah,
it was
really fancy people.
Very cool.
The coolest one was Rafa.
Yeah, he was the. It's funny, like you're in a room with, Seinfeld and Anna Wintour and all these amazing people, and like they come to see Rafa. It's like, and see his doc. It's just, I know we're in our bubble and we forget about how important, this game is to so many people. Anyways, I digress. MIRRA ANDREEVA, we said might be an arrival. It's quite the arrival. It's weird when people win their first one, sometimes like, can they do it? This one, it felt from like the quarters on, it felt like this was kind of hers. It had that Zverev feel where she's the favorite, but without the baggage and kind of the damage of close calls from the years. I think the only thing I got right this entire one was I thought Andreeva would roll in this final against Chwalinska. She is, it was just such an amazing story before we get to MIRRA and kind of project forward what this means for her. To go from 114 in the world to 21 in the world in one tournament.
It's crazy. 93 spots.
We talked about the other day. It's life-changing in so many ways. Like, what I want to know is, like, I wish they would release this if I'm her team. Okay, this was the schedule we were going to play. I guarantee you she was entered in some challenger somewhere random going into Wimbledon before she had to play qualies. I bet it was someplace you've never heard of. And then all of a sudden after Wimbledon, she's going to be, I guarantee you they have back of the napkin, schedule this, and all of a sudden it's going to be Cincinnati, Canada, Washington. Like, it's going to be very different for her. You kind of rip up that schedule, you adjust. Mm-hmm. You're getting paid more money to lose first round than you are to win a challenger sometimes.
Yeah. She talked about how the past 3 weeks has been kind of a blur. She said in her post, and she's like, I haven't really processed what just happened.
Totally.
It's like, it's that live in the moment, need, I assume for a tennis player, while also how do you grasp the gravity of what just changed, like you said?
Yeah. I always felt weird. I was younger a little bit, but you would go juggling normalcy, where you live, what your room looks like. For me, it was, I played Agassi and then went to school the next day. It was didn't change anything. I beat Pete, and then it was just these little things, but then you would always go back to something normal, and you'd be sitting in a place that you recognize, and that's when it would hit me and be like, the room hasn't changed, but everything outside of it has. And I'm sure that's what she's going through. Not confirmed, but one of the journalists from Poland was basically saying this was the highest rated.
Yeah, what was it? What was it?
Something or other. There's someone out there saying, and we haven't confirmed this, so take it with a grain of salt, but it's somewhere out there saying that this week these matches were higher rated than Iga's finals, even in Poland, and I think that just goes to the fairy tale story. Mm-hmm. I will say with the Polish media, it feels like they take Iga for granted sometimes. It seems like they didn't take this story for granted, but there's a lot of things. We also saw, or we're seeing with Fonseca, they have an established precedent in Brazil of winning majors and being number one in the world and kind of getting to know the process of a Grand Slam event by virtue of having a champion in Guga Kuerten. And now Fonseca, everyone goes nuts. I think what Iga creates, and then all of a sudden you have the people that are in love with tennis in Poland and not just in love with a Polish player, and then you layer in this fairy tale story of someone 114. I mean, she's never been on tour before. Like the legit, I'm getting into every high-level pro event that I enter, Challenger Tour, maybe go back and forth a little bit, but I am on tour. I'm going to be able to enter every tournament. At 21 in the world, she's going to be seated at most of her events. Like, I have a hard time. Like, I'm trying to think of all the little details that will change, right? Not waiting on a bus to take you to some court somewhere to play challengers. Like, she's going to get a car service. She's going to get her own room. She's not going to have to share expenses with someone sleeping. Like, all of these little things that, you know, tour players take for granted because they are normal when you're on tour. But she's going to have all these things. It was just really fun to watch. It was really fun to see someone in this era of power tennis dominating, where bigger, stronger, faster, hit harder off both sides. Someone who can mix up paces, mix up high, deflate power, inject sometimes. You have to win with positioning. She's not going to hit winners from 4 feet behind the baseline. So she would play a soft high one and then use her, you know, then try to get in and dictate. Now, it's tough to do against someone who kind of has you covered on the slow stuff and then has you covered with the powerful stuff and then has you covered with the serve. Andreeva, I think, we talked about it yesterday, the soft stuff to someone like Sabalenka who doesn't have that option, wants to go through you, is interesting. But when you play someone like an Andreeva, she has that option to kind of weave out of in and out of game plans. Listen, performance beyond her years. There is pressure in being the blue chip prospect, having a look at the basket, knowing that you're the overwhelming favorite, knowing that this is the time, and then going out and delivering a convincing performance. And it was a little weird in the first set. Like, down, she was up 2-1, down 3-2. Chwalinska was kind of getting those little deals where she was hitting the high ball, a little bit confusing, and then Andreeva just kind of stepped on the gas, started picking and choosing the right shots to go for. And then it just felt like downhill skiing once she kind of had that figured out. 4-3, 5-3, wins the first set. You're thinking to yourself, this is a long road back and a lot has to go right just based on matchup. But it's also weird. Like, with first-time winner, it's like, yep, that was just there's a sense of inevitability around Andreeva. Dominated early part of last year, was okay probably by her own standards, and then just got on the clay and just turned up the gas. Mm-hmm. She's only getting stronger. I mean, she kind of had that thing a couple years ago where, she was still kind of growing into her physicality, and now, I mean, she's strong off the mark. She's fast. Like, you hear her feet ripping when she takes off for a drop shot. Serve is really good. There's some motion and margin on her serve. I don't see that ever going sideways. And I'm just telling you, she's only going to get better. Like, she's still a work in progress, even though she's as good as she is. Mm-hmm. The thing with options and having those options is you need time, reps, and years to figure out when to apply them perfectly. I do want to say Conchita Martinez has one of the best track records in tennis. Muguruza, and now what she's doing with Andreeva, having coached Fed Cup, a team, having coached individual players, established players, bringing someone from 17 to that next level, on top of being a Wimbledon champion herself. I was thinking when we were getting off the plane today, Mike, after I was watching the match, streaming, I was like, this is a really good, I didn't think of it before, and I should have. Conchita Martinez was one who liked to hit those high balls, and then she would hit the chips, and then she would hit the drop shots. I'm going, so if she's coaching against it, she's going to have a great view on how to counter stuff that she did pretty well, mm-hmm. and be able to teach that style to Andreeva, who can adopt it, and then she kind of shapeshifts between the moon balls and then getting on her front foot. And has both options. maybe more so than anyone in the women's game. And that's not saying she's the best player in the world right now. I'm not ready to give up on Sabalenka and Raducanu. I don't think we're at that point. But they play straight through you, and they're going to play straight through you. And when they execute, it's very hard to beat. Andreeva has a little bit more optionality. Now, does she go through people as well as those two? No. Will she someday? Maybe. But it's still going to take time for her to learn how to use all the tools that she has, which is pretty scary.
I mean, if you couple this skill set and what it looked like, the comfortability she had with the what seemed to be really strong mental fortitude, like throughout the entire.
She was calm.
It's a very likely path that it's realistic that one day she'd be number one.
Sure. I mean, I think we were on record saying that. I mean, we can go back. I don't know with the vault, but I think we said that at the Middle East last year.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, you make progress, you go backwards, but the pieces, the strength, the movement, the ball flight, the serve, all those things lead to her just getting better and better. I mean, she feels like a future world number one.
Afterwards, she talked about she did her thing where she thanks herself, which I think is
hilarious.
Which I love that. And she, earlier in the tournament, she talked about she got that from Soup Dog. But I think what I took away from that, she said, only I know how tough it was for me and how nervous I was throughout these 2 weeks. Thanks to myself for working so hard and giving my best. And I think it's like looking in the mirror and acknowledging the struggle that you're going through. I mean, it's just like for a 19-year-old to do that.
Yeah. It's pretty, and it's also like she has a personality. She's going to be great for the game. She gives you the quotes. She's kind of very serious when she's out there. We've seen her explode and be very volatile. But then when she gets to interviews, she's always in on the joke.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's fun. She's easy. She's almost like the opposite of the way she's like wistful. She's great. She's going to be great for the game for a long time. Now, is she going to be the best fast court player in the world tomorrow? I don't think so yet. Is she going to be, in the hunt for the number one ranking? I think next year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's coming. I think it's coming pretty quick. But I mean, what an arrival by Andreeva. And by the way, like she didn't really get tested this tournament. Like maybe one set early on or something, but for the last 3 or 4 rounds, people weren't really putting together consecutive games very consistently. It was dominant.
Yeah.
And it was gross. Like I don't mean the play was gross. I mean the weather was pretty gross the second week. The wind, to go from hot, not windy, then switch and then get through that. I mean, today was gross. I was watching the flags and you could see the way the ball flight, it was like kind of like floating the wrong way. That's another thing about Chwalinska, like her ball getting up in that wind and kind of knuckleballing, getting that weather the second week, I think was good for her.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see her on grass, because if there's something that we're all missing, right? Because right now you see the way she varies speed and you're going, oh, that's made for a clay court or a slower, high bouncing court. Now, I can't wait to see her on something faster that shoots through the court where she's not getting the benefit of time and seeing how it translates. I don't think it's as natural a transition, but I can't wait to watch it. And it's almost like she had this amazing event, but she's going to get on the job training now while being ranked 21 in the world and being a Grand Slam finalist. All in all, like a nutty, crazy Roland Garros on the women's side, but it was really fun. Really, a lot of really great stories. There's going to be a lot of very hungry top players coming into Wimbledon.
Yeah.
That had early losses that are saying we want to right that ship going in. The obvious storylines is Raducanu lost early. Her game's like tailor-made for grass. She's won before. Sabalenka hasn't won Wimbledon. She didn't really leave in the most positive mindset. Iga, can she defend? Does Iga flirt with dropping out of the top 10 either after Wimbledon or shortly thereafter if she can't find that form?
Coco.
She was unreal. Can Coco figure out? I think grass is the surface that does her game the least amount of favors. She's been a little susceptible to upsets there. So Jess Pegula, did she get herself back into that conversation? I think she can play great on grass. It'll be interesting, but there's going to be a lot of top players that want to kind of reestablish the pecking order.
Yeah. Well, the stat of the day brought to you by ServiceNow is that MIRRA at 19 years old and 40 days is third youngest female player to win a slam since the year 2000. Do you know the other two?
I'd guess when Iga won first and Coco.
No.
Neither?
No.
Oh.
I'll give you Maria Sharapova, 17 years old in
Wimbledon, yeah.
2004, and then Emma Raducanu, 18 years and 302 days.
I wouldn't have.
2021
I
US
should have
Open.
gotten the Maria one. That was obvious. Excuse me, a little jet lag.
Yeah. But it's the 40 days. The other,
I got to be honest, I would have gotten that if I wasn't very hungover. But here we are. One thing to look for in the men's final tomorrow with Cobolli and Zverev. Cobolli's been off for a while now. A lot of time to think about it. Didn't get that match. Obviously, you take the entry into the final. And I think you were telling me yesterday, what did Courier say about it? Like I think it was 92. He got to walk over or something in Australia.
Like, I pretended to be really upset, but I was really excited.
Yeah, you get it.
Of course you are.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would I like a guaranteed entry to the final?
Yes.
Or would I like a coin flip no, I'll take the spot in the final. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel badly. Doesn't mean you can't feel badly for your buddy.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you don't have some guilt about how you got there. Get over that shit real quick though.
I'm excited. We're going to see two really fresh tennis players.
Yeah, I don't think it's funny for as much of the storyline that's been around recovery, can people get back on the court? And there's almost going to be none of that for the final. They should both be fresh. I don't think it's going to be hot. I don't know what the wind's going to look like. I should. One thing that I think is maybe the biggest factor for Cobolli that we will have seen yet. So we've talked about the way he's dominating the ad side on serve and getting that forehand over and over and over. One of the things against Felix was Felix, kind of has that inside out backhand swing, but creates a little bit more shape. And we were saying if he gets pulled out, does he have a strong enough left hand and will he be able to flatten that ball out and get direction? The difference is, I think for the first time in this tournament, maybe not, Zvita has a strong two-hander also, but he will not have seen someone who's built to deal with what he's giving on the ad side, like Zverev, right? So if you think about the kick, what's the point of it? You get it off the court, you want to get high up and away and make someone use that left hand. Zverev is maybe the best in the world at not only hitting it hard, but flat and long through the court. So I don't know if Cobolli is going to be able to get that like step or two inside to punch that ball across to his forehand. Mm-hmm. Zverev gets more depth. I don't know that he's going to be able to get on the front foot based on how flat and deep Zverev hits that return. And also when you're 6'6", it's not getting, it's much different than when you're 6'2" or 3. As far as that ball getting kind of up and away, Zverev's happy to let it drop because he knows he can create enough distance. Not even just depth, but like full on distance through the court. So I don't think Cobolli's going to have, I'm not going to say he's not going to have success because there's only so much you can do but I don't think he has dealt with someone who can deal with what he's going to give like Zverev. And I also want to see how he returns first serves. Mm-hmm. Right? He did a good job against Felix, but Zverev has started widening the court a lot and not letting people get the patterns. He did a couple rounds ago where he started T, and then started going wide. He's almost establishing the pattern T early and then opening up the wide ones. If he serves 76% and he's serving big, I mean, that's a lot of returns that Cobolli is going to have to make. I simply think Zverev is going to be in a lot more Cobolli service games from the return side than vice versa. There will be one or two games a set where Zverev cruises through by virtue of aces, service winners, or the serve +1. I like Zverev in this match, which should be music to Cobolli's ears. Mm-hmm. Whenever I've been picking against him, he's been great. But he's had an amazing tournament. Zverev's handled it like an adult, since he became the favorite. I can't wait to watch it. I think Sasha will win. I think he deserves it. He's earned this over time. 550 some odd match wins, 2 World Tour finals, a bunch of Grand Slam finals. He's a worthy champion of a Grand Slam. Didn't have to go through Sinner and Alcaraz. This is a real opportunity. This one will stick with him. If he doesn't win, I expect him to deliver, but there's a lot of pressure on him. Mm-hmm. But also, people, all the pressure's on Zverev. It's like, well, no, same thing that applies to like Cobolli's like, is this my shot at the basket? Like it's not as if he feels nothing because he's not the favorite. Like I hate it when people say there's a lot at stake for him too. You know, who would have thought he would have the chance to be the first Italian since 1976 and Pinata to win the French Open?
Yeah, right. I mean,
crazy.
Right.
Looking forward to it. That pattern early and how Zverev deals with Cobolli. And Cobolli's going like way as you're looking at the screen, like way to the outside on the ad side, almost to like the sideline, and then using that angle to get to the person's backhand and or set up the center serve. I'd be curious to see how much he gets away with it. I'm also going to be curious. He's been feeding that pattern for 2 weeks. If Zverev handles it, how quickly does he try to get away from it, even though he's been using it for 2 weeks? All of those little adjustments to the adjustments in the first 4 or 5 games will be interesting to see. And also how much success Zverev has. Can he bully Cobolli at all to the forehand side? If that shot's open, Zverev becomes a much better player. That's the one where he tries to bully Sinner, and then Sinner opens up the shoulders. Alcaraz opens up the shoulders. If that's open, it makes his kind of directional, higher ball up the line way more open. So those are the 2 things I would look for early in the match tomorrow, is how he's handling Cobolli's service from the ad side, and is he getting paid off when he tries to go aggressive to the Cobolli forehand off of his forehand side, either from the backhand corner or from cross court. If he's having some payoff with that and some success with that, it opens up a lot of matchup problems for Cobolli.
And the weather looks pretty neutral. It looks 72 degrees, 5-mile-an-hour winds. Doesn't look like it's going to be a factor.
Let it rip, Tater Chip.
Let it rip. Before we go, want to give a shout out to Takedo Oda. Took home his 4th consecutive French Open title, or Roland Garros title, giving the 20-year-old his 9th slam
in the wheelchair division.
In the wheelchair,
amazing.
Yeah.
He's like the phenom of all phenoms.
Yeah,
amazing. If you get a chance to watch him, please go do it. It's history in the making.
We should have on Q and Andy sometime.
I would fucking be starstruck.
We should reach out to him.
I think he's the coolest. Anyways, thanks for watching Quick Served. Thanks for hanging with us for the last 2 weeks. We got one more, boys. We're almost there. Brought to you as always by ServiceNow. We will see you tomorrow with a new Grand Slam champion. Props to Andreeva. Really well done. AI is only as powerful as the platform it's built on. With the ServiceNow AI platform, your AI, data, and workflows all work together, connecting every corner of your business. To see how you can put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com/AI-agents.